that I am willing to give up my ventilator to someone who still has a life to live.
Have their 10-person wedding at a park nearby, the couple has no idea what's next for their wedding day.
But the coronavirus cut the tour short, yet they still have a lot to sing about.
The real heroes are the 1,200 folks who have signed up to love their neighbors.
I don't want to take some young mother with 4 children's ventilator.
I spoke to a woman from Pittsburgh who is 65 years old. She is retired. She worked as a nurse for many years, and she says she has underlying medical conditions. And so her concern really was if she gets sick, which she is not, but if she gets sick, she wanted to make sure that she didn't take a ventilator from someone who really would need it. She wanted to put in her living will and let her power of attorney know that she did not want a ventilator if she becomes sick. She wanted that ventilator to be available for other people.
Common sense-wise, it tells me that our medical professionals are going to have to make some very hard decisions, choosing who gets the ventilators and who does not.
I absolutely think that Darlene's time as a nurse influenced her decision. She was very concerned about those still working in hospitals. She wanted to make sure that they had everything they need, and she has experience dealing with patients, and she knows there are people that need things more than other people. And I think that definitely weighed on her, and that's why she made the choice she did. And she did speak with her family members ahead of time to make sure they were okay with her choice. I guess she did feel sort of matter of fact about it because she made the choice and she wasn't wavering at all. She knew that was the right choice for her. And so she didn't look at it as a difficult choice, although she acknowledged it could be for other people.
I've lived my life. I'm 65 years old.
She just wanted other people to know that, this may be a choice that you can make too. And she told me that she's talked to some of her other family members and neighbors who were considering this as well, because they were older people and they felt like they lived their lives. And she really felt like, her family was okay with it and she had a great life and she was ready to make sure someone else did as well.
I don't want to take some college student's ventilator. I don't want to take someone that's 70 years old's ventilator that maybe has a disabled child that they're still caring for. Age doesn't always have to be a factor with this.
Experts tell us if you want to do the same as Darlene Fryer, you should talk to a power of attorney, make sure that they're aware of your wishes, but also get it in writing because the power of attorney still has the ultimate say in the end. If you don't have it in writing and they choose to put you on a ventilator, they can. So make sure that you get it in writing as well as tell the person responsible. I received a lot of feedback from this story. Most of the people were thankful to her. Most of the people couldn't understand how she made that choice, but they were really grateful. But I did hear from people on the other side that say maybe this wouldn't be the right message for some other older people, and it may make them feel like they shouldn't take the ventilator. And that wasn't the point of the story, and that wasn't what Darlene wanted people to know. She wanted people to know that make the right choice for you, talk to your family. It doesn't really depend on age. It depends on what you think is right for you, and I think that's important.
They have no idea that this is happening.
They were supposed to have their wedding in March, at the chapel. Basically, the whole town is invited. And of course, because of the 10-person limitation, they had to change their plans. Nate and Allison are already just so involved in the community, and the community was just really eager to do something to give back to them and show them the love and support that Nate and Allison have been giving them.
It's kind of one big family, so even though their day wasn't quite like the way they had it planned, we're going to make the best of it.
They thought they were getting on a fire truck because they were just going to take pictures with it. I think their plan was, let's go back to the station where we met and then we can take pictures. So they just thought they were on their way, to get some photos in. And then in reality, the whole town is there ready to greet them.
I'm really excited for them to come around the corner.
Everyone showed up super early with signs, balloons, noisemakers. People even brought the original invitation for the wedding that they were supposed to go to, but obviously couldn't anymore. And everyone was just so excited because they knew the couple didn't know anything about this, which made it even better.
We'd love to hug them, but sadly we won't be able to do that today, but maybe soon.
Watching them come down Main Street on this fire truck, it's totally just a mix of, big smiles, waving, and happiness, but at the same time, they're just crying because it was very overwhelming. It was an overwhelming amount of love and support.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, it was
tears and breathtaking.
really, there's no words that can express how awesome this is, and we could never thank everyone enough. This is amazing.
More than we could ever ask for,
Yeah.
ever imagine.
Better than the wedding.
A year of wedding planning, this tops it completely.
Moments like this, it's a good way to show everyone, like, we have your back. We're still excited for you. We're still rooting for you. We can still support you and watch your first dance, even if it's in the middle of the crosswalk, in the middle of Main Street.
So here's everybody that's here. Thank you.
It just kind of shows that you can let something like this situation ruin your day. You can let it dampen your day, or you can find a way to still be there for others and still put in that effort and show people you care from a safe, healthy distance.
When the choir arrived, we welcomed them as guests, but as time has gone on, we've actually not called them guests any longer. They're now a part of our community.
Our assignment editor had got an email from a pastor involved in the ministry who said, we are housing 37 members of the Imani Milele Children's Choir at our camp on Lake Greenwood. And, we think it's a great story and it's one worth sharing.
It was until a few weeks ago when we started hearing of the news of the COVID-19. And of course, that affected our schedule.
This fellowship center, this camp, in a matter of hours, they got together and they said, their tour got canceled. They have nowhere to stay. They have nowhere to turn. What are we going to do? And so out of the goodness of their hearts, they opened up this entire facility, which was going to be closed because of the coronavirus. They were done. They were shutting down. They opened up their entire facility to give these people a place to stay. First, it was an additional week, and then a week turned into 10 days, and then 10 days turned into 2 weeks. And now they have guaranteed housing up until April 30th. Because of just, faith and love that the camp is showing to this choir they just met. They just met these people.
At first, it was a little bit daunting. As we've gotten a hold of how things were going, we're able to respond a little bit better.
Originally, when I spoke to the camp director, he said the choir was not going to sing. And he said that we don't want them to sing because they're under a lot of stress. There's a lot of changes going on. We don't want to have to ask them to sing for the news if they're not willing to sing. The thing was, we couldn't get within 15 feet of any of the campers or any of the adult members of the choir because of coronavirus concerns. So me and my photographer were approaching the story, planning on how to tell this story about a choir without any singing. And then at the very end, when we were wrapping up, one of the adult members, one of the chaperones from the choir came over, just random. I hadn't spoken to this person all day. And she said, the choir would love to sing for you. They would hate if you left without being able to hear them. It wasn't any longer than the first note. I could tell that they were the real deal. And they chose to sing Lean On Me, which I could not have picked a better song for them to sing.
In our lives, we all have pain.
Everyone was so blown away with the singing that it's almost easy to overlook how incredible of a job the camp and how incredible of a gesture the camp made to house and feed 37 people unexpectedly in the middle of, a pandemic.
There is hope beyond COVID-19. The most important thing in a time like this is that we are one another's brother and sister, and so we ought to help each other.
We have talked to people from all over the world. I've talked to somebody in Australia, London, Canada.
Erin is immunocompromised. Luckily, she has a husband. a husband that is able-bodied and willing to get to the grocery and do those errands. But she got to thinking there was a lot of folks that weren't going to have the same opportunity and the same support system she did.
Yeah, we'll help you avoid it. Yeah, we'll get you matched.
So she got online and really started this online dating service, if you would, but it's instead of finding a date, you find a neighbor that can help you. And Erin is no stranger to this. She actually met her husband online, so she knows the power of online match systems. So she went ahead and created COVID-19 Match to set folks up, those needing help, with those that could help. And it started off with a couple hundred people. And by the time I'd interviewed her just a couple weeks ago, she had more than 1,000 people signed up to help and just a couple hundred that were needing help. I checked it out today and it's incredible. There's a woman who says, hey, I volunteer with COVID-19 Match. My match is an elderly woman that needs a vacuum cleaner. Can anybody help me? And it was posted 20 minutes ago and already there were dozens of comments. And that is Louisville. You talk about Southern hospitality and we always say that we're a compassionate city, and that is exactly it. Folks just coming together in some really unprecedented times to help out.
I just had an idea. The real heroes are the 1,200 folks who have signed up to love their neighbors. They're the ones who are stepping out and saying, you know what, I can do this.
So right now, the needs that we're seeing on COVID-19 Match are people that need groceries and medications. And there is a system of checks and balances in place involving the police department scanning driver's license. So both those helping and those choosing to help are protected. There are a lot of folks that are over that 65 threshold, that it's not safe for them to go out right now. It's not safe for Erin to go out, and she's a woman in her 30s. So she really saw an opportunity here, not just to take care of that woman down the block, but an entire community. It's really incredible to know that a woman who really her primary job is to take care of her 2 little boys saw this need, addressed it, and is really making a difference right here in our community.
My hope that from this, long after COVID-19, that those relationships still exist in our community.